Hello everyone. Sorry we're starting a little bit late today. I was doing one of those essential trips to the grocery store where I unbelievably ran into my dad, and it just reminded me exactly how serious this whole thing is, and that, you know, we really need to watch out for the older people and people who just don't take this seriously. I mean, here's my dad walking into Kroger, no gloves, no mask, and he's just like, I'm fine. Well, I got news for you. You know, the governor was very clear this morning. She talked about how it's not really, rotate your phone, how we are on the up, not the down, how the peak won't happen for 4 or 5 more weeks. And she's kind of on the front line, obviously, of all of this. So I think that we should listen to her. And so she announced this morning that we will not be going back to school. She also announced this morning that it is going to be decided on the district level exactly what method of education delivery is going to happen in each district. And that is never a good thing, because then we don't have uniform learning across the state. She did guarantee that seniors would graduate. She would not speak about the about if kids will have to make up school or not by starting earlier in the fall. She talked about how we'll figure out that problem when we get there, which is definitely not what people wanted to hear. So that's the education update. I urge everyone who has a child with an IEP to make sure that you are in communication with your school right away. Send them emails, as many people on your team that you can reach, and work out a distance learning plan, incorporate it into the IEP, and you have to do it now. We mentioned this yesterday, we mentioned this last week. It is critical that the playing field remain even, and that everything available to general ed students is available to special ed students. As for other updates, there is a bunch of information out there about what to do if you can't comply with your court orders, and meaning the probationary requirements, drug testing, or alcohol testing, PBTs, etc., during this social distancing time when things aren't open. And I will give you more detailed information on that tomorrow. But basically, we just have a little more detail and some more resources for you that I'll give you tomorrow. But that you need to be communicating with the facility. You need to be able to show your monitoring person that it was not open and that there was nowhere else that was open. Anyone who is part of the Oakland County Results Program, that is closed. We are expecting an announcement soon that it will continue to be closed through April. A lot of the drug testing places are also closed. It's my understanding that JAMS is open on very limited hours, so make sure you check the website. And if your color number or letter comes up, make sure that you respond in some way, shape, or form so that they don't assume positive because you didn't show up. Other things around the country, we're seeing protective services is on a roll, removing kids from home based on their parents being healthcare workers who may be exposing them. Kind of an interesting thing happened. The Greektown Casino is giving all of their rooms to healthcare providers so that they don't have to go home and possibly infect their families before working on the front line again tomorrow. So that's amazing, and thank you to all those people. I got to go back to education for one more minute. We are all worried about our own kids' education, and we are worried about our own kids' futures. And I think it's important for us to be in tune with our teachers, and that they're not educating their kids who are home, they're educating our kids. And they're also in completely uncharted waters and are redoing complete curriculums to figure out what to do and how to teach us. And so so that is basically what's going on, there. And we should be saying thank you to our educators. I know they've been working round the clock to figure this out, and it's going to be a work in progress. So let's keep that in mind and be patient and figure it out as a team to give our kids the best education they can under the circumstances. The only other thing I wanted to mention today in the child protection world, there was a great article and broadcast by ABC News yesterday about the disruption of the reunification process during this quarantine. And that's interesting that it's now reaching national attention. If you remember the very first broadcast, that's what I talked about, was how these reunified families were now having their kids ripped out of their care because of the policies that are now in place by the governor for supervised parenting time has to be by video and not in person. My particular case that I'm in, the 2-year-old was living with his parents 5 days and 5 nights a week, and when the directive came down from DHHS, Department of Health and Human Services, the directive basically suspended parenting time. At that time, it was for 3 weeks that there could be no in-person parenting time, but now I'm sure that will be extended. And this is absolutely disrupting the reunification process, and it cannot be construed in any way, shape, or form for a child such as that one to go down to 5 minutes a day by FaceTime compared to spending all day and all night with your parents 5 days a week, and then being in foster care for 2. So that's a lot of what's going on. Again, if you have loved ones that are in any possible incarceration state, and you think that they may fall into the categories where we can file bond motions or early release motions or forgiveness motions, just call us at our office, 248-792-3060. If you're having difficulty with your school and trying to get your child the accommodations and other supports necessary, call our office. We'll help you with that as well. And of course, parenting time orders in custody cases, divorce cases, post-judgment are in full force and effect, as are child support orders. We talked about yesterday, so I'm not going to go into it a lot, the necessity to follow those orders. And if you need them changed for some reason, then you need to call us and we can take care of it. There's a hierarchy of cases that the court will actually hear, and we have to have a legitimate and essential reason to file them. And in order for the court to hear them, we can file everything, but in order for the court to hear it, and so that's really important. The other thing about parenting time orders and child support orders is, you gotta make sure if you're the payer on the child support and you can't afford it anymore, that's a motion that needs to be filed to modify support. And lastly, just the situation that I've been seeing over and over again and getting lots of calls about lately is I don't want to send my child to my, ex-wife's house because her new husband has a kid, and that kid's going back and forth, and my kids going back and forth, and I don't know what they're exposed to, and I don't want to risk my child's health. That is not a legally permissible reason, unless you can show that the other people that your child would be exposed to have been exposed. And so it's a tremendously huge threshold to meet. So that's pretty much the update for today, unless anyone has any questions. I know it was kind of quick, but I am happy to answer any questions, and please feel free to send me if you want to just email me questions or topics. You can send a message through Facebook, or you can send a message to my email. It's lisa@kdlawgroup.com, and we're happy to help you. We're here, we're open, and we're doing video conferences and consultations, as well as on the phone. And it's a beautiful day outside, so everybody get some sunshine. I'll see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Bye.